And
Welcome back to the Alternative Highs podcast, the number one podcast in Southwestern Ontario. It's just a fact. Quick little PSA for y'all. 60% of you are just watching this without subscribing. Hit that subscribe button. It helps me. And in the long run, I just want to help others. So with that, on with the show. Today's show has got a little bit of a different scenery. We're not in studio. We thought we'd change things up. We are in Rondo. We are at one of my most favorite places in the whole world. I've been out here since I was a little kid, and one of my closest childhood friends allowed me the use of their backyard. So here we are hosting a podcast. It's a solo, and we're going to talk about sobriety. So Monday, the 17th of August marks 8 years of sobriety for me. And man, I'm still in awe. Let me be so specific. This is California sober. People, I use marijuana. I took 6 months off, and I realized that it was more helpful than it was to get rid of it. So I've started smoking again, and that's just me being completely transparent with everybody. So if you see me puffing, it is what it is. However, I believe my man Daniel, who as you know, came on earlier this year to produce, has become a very important piece of my life. He's no longer just a producer. He's now a very close friend who I deeply respect and happy to be on this journey with. Is going to ask some questions. So, Daniel, I'm going to prepare my stoke. You let me know.
sure. Yeah. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. It's been a meaningful experience to be a part of the show thus far. And yeah, it's kind of neat that we're outside at Rondo. So, Rondo, so. Rondo. Anyway, I got a couple questions for you. I'd love to get real in depth about what it's taken to you to have your 8 years of recovery thus far. Starting off with, let's go back in time a bit here and start talking about what are some of your fondest memories growing up, since we're in the area right now.
My fondest memories. So out here, I was young. This was before, and my dad's going to hate this one. This was before we had our cottage, and we've had our cottage since I was 10, 11. So put me at 8, 9. The greatest memory of all time is my dad went to rent us a movie, VHS. This is how far back this goes. And we are sitting out on 6th Street where our rental is, and there's a screened in porch. And we can hear, Laura, Laura. And long story short, my dad got hit by a deer that night and sent the VHS flying.
You got hit by a deer? Okay.
So that is one of my fondest memories of being out here. And there's so many more, but that one just kind of sticks out.
Well, still sticking around in your childhood, what's something maybe back when you were, younger, as a teenager, that you didn't understand back then, but you understand differently now?
It's kind of funny. I don't know how to word this. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. The impact that music has on us. So there's a song that talks about a Colt 45, 2 zigzags.
Yeah.
So Colt 45 was my very first beverage that I ever had. First time I ever got drunk. I was, 13, 14 years old, and I had a Colt 45. Looking back today on that, I wish I would have been a little more, what's the word I want to use here?
Wiser?
Wiser. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that Colt 45 led me to do a whole lot of crazy things shortly thereafter.
Wow.
Also, it made me never want to drink a Colt 45 ever again
Mm.
because that shit is pungent.
Well, actually, that kind of leads into my next question, which we're going more into your earlier stages of addiction. Do you remember the first time drugs or alcohol genuinely changed the way your life is? So I imagine, was that the Colt 45? Be the first time you were drunk,
That was the first time I was drunk.
and you were 14.
I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can remember like I was so drunk that I sat cross-legged, I believe, on the floor staring at something. Um, I don't even know what I was staring at. It definitely wasn't like a TV or anything that was showing me anything. I was just in La La Land being like, this is what people do for fun. And then it became a very natural thing for me to become.
Did it feel like, were you finding to think about how soon you can get to your next buzz at that point, and then further on?
It was always, what were we going to do that weekend, the next weekend, for sure.
Right.
How are we going to afford a 12 pack of Coors, and what can we do, and
It
where
started
can we
becoming
drink it?
I guess, would you consider that becoming a priority in your life?
Yeah, I would definitely say like my, it was right around the time when my AAA coach had released me, and I was like really bummed out and like didn't have a whole lot of, there wasn't anything to back onto there. Like all the teams were made. So when I was released through the season, I didn't have anything to do. So I was bummed. And then that would be when I really picked up into the drinking. Then I experimented with like hard drugs like ecstasy, other drugs that go along with ecstasy
Yeah. So obviously it was escalating.
heavily.
So at first, would you could say, like, at first it was just all for fun, recreational, but when did it start to transition to becoming like a necessity? Would it be like, just what was that journey like?
I would say I dabbled until I was 32 years old.
So to get this straight, so from 14 up to 32. Okay.
18 years. And like I started smoking cigarettes then too. Um so I was, and yeah, 32. When I got into my car accident, that's when it went from uh recreational to full on addict. I guess you'd be an addict after 18 years, but like full blown pill popping, vodka drinking every day, and
Well, I'm
crack
imagining
cooking.
that, correct me if I'm wrong here, if you're back in your first 18 years, something fun to do, I want to look forward to this is great. But then after your accident, did it become more of like I gotta maintain this type of headspace within
Well, it's
these
coping.
substances? Coping.
So it's, um, I found that cocaine, when I sniffed, it would release the the nerve pain that I was having. Did it actually? I don't know. Like,
Right.
been 8 years, but I remember that was what I would tell myself and how I would tell people why I was so banged up.
Right.
And people, how do you tell somebody in a wheelchair you're being a fucking idiot?
Would you consider that one or the other being like the I don't know if the proper term is excuse to be an addicted to this. Back then it was recreational. This is fun. Now now it's another reason it's for this. But either way, the end result wasn't positive either.
No, 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 no. I was 35 when I quit. So like 21 years of drugs and alcohol and smoking darts is a long time to go. That at that point in my life, 21 years of 35 years was a good majority. I remember last year thinking I am 42 years old and I am halfway, half of my life was spent with booze and drugs and like just a really unhealthy way of living.
I mean, it sounds like you were in like the sidelines and passengers of your own life, just not just watching it.
Oh yeah, it's very when if you can get stuck in those moments of wasted life, man, I would I I don't get stuck there because it is what it is, but it definitely is like fuck moment. God, why did I do that? There's so much cooler things I could have been doing, but it is what it is. We're
Okay.
here to share the story and
So, what started disappearing from your life as addiction took more control?
friends, family, those those three things come to mind pretty easily.
Yeah. What were some of those like lies that you were telling yourself and to others around you for during this period? Do you recall?
What lies? I was pretty open about it. Like I didn't really like if somebody asked if I was doing drugs, I would be like, yeah, I am. And it just did a line of coke off the
But I
back
guess
of
like
your
it's
toilet.
not so much what you're doing. What was your reasoning? I guess.
Uh, what I told you, it helps with my nerve pain.
Right.
So I mean, like I said, who's gonna tell somebody in a wheelchair, like people are thinking it obviously, but man, all I wanted to do was die. So to say one bad thing to me and be that reason, I guess, is what people were looking, maybe thought of it at like, I don't know. I was a pretty toxic human being while I was under those types of drugs and amounts of booze that I was.
Mhm.
I was always I wasn't trying to make you feel bad for me, but I definitely was making you feel bad for me.
What's when you're thinking about these moments? What's still something that you think about that hurts to this day? Like,
Um, there's a moment where my mother and sister came into my home. It was pretty much the trap house. It was the house that got raided. They came in and my niece was with them. She was very I remember kicking them all out and being like, "The fuck are you guys doing? Get get out of here." And that plays over in my head every time I hug my niece and kiss her forehead. I just I'm so grateful that she was able to look past that moment in time and see the better in me and let me be the version I am today without any sort of guilt or judgment.
thank you for sharing that. It seems like quite the an emotional impact with family. I mean, that's something I guess.
A lot of people will be able to relate with
Yeah.
that. It's the toughest one. We are the hardest on our family. We are the worst to the people we love the most. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Did you ever find yourself at your loneliest moments during these hard times that you were putting yourself through?
Yeah. There's there's a lot of loneliness in people that have been through a lot. We'll say traumatic, we'll say um just life events of alcoholism and addiction and I don't know if the loneliness ever truly dissipates because it's always kind of there. You learn to work with it differently though. Now it's one of my most successful things is being alone, recovering, repairing, and just how do we make the next chapter of life work? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. So now that being 8 years later, is there still something from that period that you're carrying with you? Like, are you still holding on to anything heavy?
Um, just wasted time with my children. that will never go away. There's things I can look past, but the time that I missed with the kids, I can't ever get back. Same with my nieces. Uh, it's the children of addicts and alcoholics that get the grunt end of things and have to. Thankfully, my kids didn't witness it because they were. Their mother and I had a understanding. It wasn't an understanding. I straight up told her, I don't think the kids should be around me right now. And looking back on that, that's my regrets is uh, the way I just wasted a child. Man, I don't know how to word this. I really,
It's difficult. I
I
get it.
missed a lot of the stuff with my kids, you know. I tried to be a part of as much as I could, and my heart was breaking, and I didn't know how to be there for them. So, yeah, that's a tough one to even think back on and not want to kick the shit out of yourself.
Well, if it's any consolation, I've learned recently that honorable individuals are the only ones that feel some type of shame. I mean, if anything, that shame is a reminder that there's a heart inside of you. So
It's a
you
good
should
way to
probably
look at it.
consider that because, like, if you think about it, there's a lot of callous and a lot of like non care for someone else's. Like you deeply do care about your mistakes from your past. That matters.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's a great quote.
Yeah. It's I think it's something that I just hope that your shame doesn't cripple you from moving forward and into what you can do better.
Fuck, I like you.
Right.
I might even just love you.
No problem. So coming up to those are the hard times of your life. Obviously, this is a positive moment being here, coming up to your 8 years of recovery. We're going to start talking about what that transition is into that portion of because there's obviously, recovery isn't just the stage of your life being an addiction. It's also about the journey of literally recovering.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about what's the pinnacle point of that turn for you, just to kick it off?
When I became sober?
Yeah, sure. When you started, at least when you took charge.
Did I tell you how I took charge?
If you did, let's hear it again.
So it was by accident. I met Jody in July, early July, and he had a conversation with me. It was like, shit or get off the pot. Jody being my doctor, who has been a pivotal part of me moving and doing what I'm able to do today. And the following month, my aunt and uncle flew in, and their son had passed at my age at that time. I was 35 years old. And I just...
Sorry, this is Jody?
Pardon?
Jody had lost a son?
No, my aunt and uncle flew in.
Oh, okay.
So the next month in August. So when they flew in, like I said, their son had died at my age. I was 35.
Oh my God.
And I was like, we're all living together. I thought I'd be respectful and not drink and not do drugs while they're around. And they were there for 3 weeks. They were there for a wedding. And I managed to not drink, not do drugs, not smoke cigarettes, and not pop any pills. And by the third week, I was fucking feeling it. I was shaking, I was sweating, I was puking, I was withdrawals like you wouldn't believe. But I was like, you know what? If I can make it 3 weeks, let's see if I can make it to the next day after they left. And then, I remember at 3-month mark, I got a hold of somebody that was good with social media. And I was like, hey, I want to do this thing. I want to get everybody sober and let's just get together and do this. It's easy. And then I was like, man, during the conversation, I realized that I was not credible enough. And I put that idea on the back burner, and then I came back to it 3 years later. I was a whole 100 pounds heavier. I was literally just looking super, super healthy. I was a big boy. Uh, I asked Jody, I said, Jody, do you think that I could go lift weights and get jacked? He's like, I don't know why you're asking me. Just go do it. So I did it. I very quickly was, COVID hit. So the gym's closed. And I was like, well, pivot. Let's continue. Sorry, I'm trying to watch Daniel cross his
sorry, my
legs.
legs are kind of
It's a
falling
hell of a
asleep.
thing to watch. And I started a 25-day 100-kilometer challenge, which started Excuses Are Gone. And I did the 100 kilometers. Actually, in fact, I did 1,000. And then I swam this bay from that end to right here. And then I got a bicycle. And then I started to train to cross Canada. But I got a burn and that stopped. But it was those moments of clarity, of realizing that I had something to offer others, because we don't all sober up the same way. Everybody's different, whether you go through it yourself or you get some help to do it, which if you're on a lot of stuff, I really recommend you do this the safe way. I probably could have killed myself with all the meds I was on and all the extra pills I was on and the amount of booze I was drinking. It wasn't a good situation. However, that time of my life of really gutting it and going through it made me realize that if I can go through that, go through learning first, like, I mean, this car accident, the spinal cord injury was a lot to go through. It was hard, like getting everything taken away and then just having to be all right with it was hard to wrap my head around. It's still wrapping my head around it. But seeing myself, looking back, not gonna lie, I'm super proud of myself. Like I did some really big things, and I've suffered from working so hard by doing really cool things too. Like I've overworked myself right now. I am cooked from doing a triathlon last weekend, just seeing if I still got it. Did that answer your question, or did I just go off
No,
into
no,
something?
of course, no. That's entirely insightful. Actually, you've answered a few other questions within that time. So, I mean, going back to what's something that 8 years now today, Dustin 8 years ago would not believe that you'd accomplish. What do you think?
8 years of sobriety, of not, sniffing, puffing. Okay, I do puff, but the different type of puff. That I swam this bay, that I rode my bike from here to Chatham just to see if I still had it. And like that would not sound like a lot to a lot of people, but like the type of spinal cord injury, like I I I wish I could explain it. I don't know the medical, but it is mind-boggling that I'm able to do that. Like it is really crazy.
Well, I think it'd actually be an interesting episode if we actually had a medical professional that to actually go through what you went through to really paint a picture for our listeners on that.
Yeah,
So,
I think we should get somebody
yeah,
on.
comment if you want to know more about that injury.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Coming down to the last bit here of what this journey has taken you to. What does I guess the big question is, just to end it off here, what does 8 years of recovery mean to you, and what do you hope people get from this this milestone in your life?
8 years of recovery to me. If I can do it, you can do it. I had a lot of barriers put in front of me, but we figured out how to either go up and over them, around them, or fucking smash right through them. But there was a lot of things put in the way, and that's why I say if I can do it, you can do it. It's This is a great big world, people, and there's so many cool things that are offered to us that sometimes we just take for granted. I took walking for granted, like that simple of a thing, and now, you know, I get to walk again. It's very exhausting, but I get to do it. So now I take advantage of that. I go to all the spots and I go for my walks. Taking your life back and doing the simple things in life to bring that type of gratitude, that's where the realness of life is. The rest of it's just sprinkles and fairy dust. Was that the response?
That was the response, man. I mean, like, it's obviously from the heart and everything. Thank you again, Dustin. Congratulations on 8 years of recovery. Here's to 8 more to go, if not more.
I didn't.
And yeah, thank you so much for everyone listening and joining the journey. And we'll see you again at the 9th anniversary this time next year.
Peace and love.